All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Short Box. Another night of a wonderful show. We're going to talk about John Hughes movies. First, let me introduce a loyal guest host we've had for several months now. We appreciate him. God bless this man. He's representing Houston, Texas, Professor Chris Turner. Thank you again, sir, for joining us.
Thanks. Did you say appreciate?
Appreciate. We appreciate you, sir.
I thought you said appreciate hate for a second. I was like,
No.
Some days, I mean, you know.
No, sir. I mean, forgive my weird accent. And then, of course, we have the man running the controls, the co-CEO of the Real Short Box Corporation. He is the man from the Buckeye State, from a small, beautiful town in Ohio, Donald McKinney. How you doing today, sir? The third.
Thank you.
And our special guest, our first nepotistic co-host. He is the brother of our previous co-host for the last couple weeks, Janet Rodriguez. He represents the area code of the 305, an area that I'm very familiar with. He lives 4 miles outside that great wealthy city of Coral Gables, Florida. Introducing for the first time on the Real Short Box, Mr. Frank Rodriguez. How you doing, sir?
Doing very well, Kevin. Donald, Chris, what a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Frank. Very appreciative. And I just want to mention something really quickly for everybody that's out there in podcast land that's watching us in the live feed. There was a mix-up with Chris. He was kind of not fully introduced, so I just want to mention that we are welcoming a full-fledged new member of the Real Short Box cast here, one Christopher D. Turner. So, Chris, thank you, and welcome aboard, buddy.
Oh, my goodness. Well. A proper introduction. There we go. Yeah.
If you want to start over, Kevin, with Chris, you can. You know, we can.
Oh, well, you know what? I stand corrected. Excuse me. One of our new permanent co-hosts, Professor Chris D. Turner of Houston, Texas, a man who represents the Central Time Zone. You know what's cool tonight? We got 3 time zones we're representing tonight, much like we did a month ago. We have the Eastern Time Zone of Florida, the Central Time Zone of Texas, and the Pacific Time Zone of California. So we are truly a national syndicated show, are we not, Mr. Dom?
We are, yeah. We've gone international too because Hakeem, your friend, our friend actually, but you know you met him first, of course. Hakeem was always watching us when he was in China, so that's pretty epic as well.
That's true.
Guys, I've posted on the social media, so feel free to share. And we are ready to, I think, rock and roll here. So let's see if we've got anybody popping in yet. Let me actually double check and make sure. And we are ready to, I think, rock and roll here. Okay. So let's see if I can hear myself. Let's see here. Give me one moment.
that would have been me. Yeah, that was my fault.
Oh, see, we introduced you as a new member, and this is the trouble we get. You know what, Kevin? Go ahead with the original, if you would. Reintroduce.
Yes, a temporary, I was kidding.
Yeah. Frank, it's so good to see you again. Frank and I did a podcast earlier in the week. It's going to be out in a week or two, probably 2 weeks. It's going to be his favorite superhero. We're going to be discussing The Punisher, so that's going to be exciting podcast, audio podcast that's going to be coming down the line here soon. So stay tuned for that.
We covered a lot of ground with it.
We did cover a lot of ground with Mr. Frank Castle, for sure. Definitely. Super excited about that. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with it. Kevin, real quickly, since what we mentioned what we're discussing? I'm sorry, I don't pay attention half the time when I'm not talking.
I said it briefly, but I'll say it again. Tonight, we are going to do a very subjective, somewhat controversial, but I think most people will agree with this. Our top 15 best John Hughes movies. We're going to rank them from 15 up to our number 1 pick. And I'm pretty sure most of you in the audience will agree. I know many of you are lovers of John Hughes films going back into the 80s and certainly in the 90s and early 2000s. Very popular filmmaker from Chicago, and very well missed. He died far too young. So we're honoring him tonight with a best ranking list of his movies.
I mentioned this a little bit last, but the great thing about this is, like I just finished watching Ready Player 2, which is the sequel to Ready Player 1.
Oh,
And it's a big, huge set piece in the middle of the book, where he goes to this John Hughes planet. They basically created a planet, and they put all they took all the different clips from all the John Hughes movies, and created this planet. And basically, all of his movies live together on this planet, and you can go and interact with all the John Hughes movies. In fact, he has all the John Hughes dads all come out at the same time and get their newspapers, and they all live on the same blocks and stuff. And the John Hughes actually lives on that block with all his people, and so they go and they visit John Hughes, and it's a really cool segment. And it was just had me thinking, I was like, wow, they go through all of his movies and they have to do all this stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Guys, we have an alert.
What's that?
It's we have hang on, we have an alert. My mom and dad are on. Everybody say hello to my mom and dad.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. McKinney.
Hello.
Hi guys. Thanks for popping on. While I pop off in the background apparently because I got a big mouth. I'm sorry. Okay, so we've got a couple likes already. Another thing I want to mention is we do have a few sponsors for our live podcasts. One of those sponsors is Half's Hot Sauce. And Brian is the owner and proprietor of Half's Hot Sauce. And it's Brian's birthday today.
Oh,
So
wow.
a warm, big Ohio hug. Happy birthday to you, Brian. I think you're probably 35. I don't know. I just guess ages. You look 35. Maybe a little younger, but
In the words of Rupert the Bear, it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah, Mom, I do take after Dad with my big mouth. I know.
So you're saying that D-Mac 2 has a big mouth? That's what you're saying, sir?
That's what my mom said.
Oh.
Yeah. Exactly. So if you go to halfshotsauce.com, you can use a 10% off coupon code. Let me get to that. That coupon code is Donald Hiccups. Because hot sauce does make me hiccup. Hey, Janet popped in. She says, hey, Frank and everyone. Hey, bro.
Hello, Janet. Thank you.
So the coupon code that we put in for Half's Hot Sauce is for 10% off. You go there, they've got a lot of really great hot sauces, guys. I know I talked in depth about it last week, so I'm not going to go that in depth this week. But it being Brian's birthday, I'd be remiss if I did not mention Half's Hot Sauce, the coupon code, and how great the hot sauce is and how much we believe in him and his company. In fact, when I was back home in August, I went to visit his production site, part of the production site, the facility for packing and things like that, headquarters of Half's Hot Sauce. Great company, and super excited for them and their future. And hopefully we can ride their coattails into the stratosphere. We'll see. We got another comment. Why are you guys not wearing bras on your heads? Good point.
Weird science reference.
If we're going to be creating...
That would require all of us being able to, be close enough to a woman to get a bra.
And not only that, we're in a very specific era we're living in right now, so it might be not so PC.
Yeah, we could get in a lot of trouble with the bra thing for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we want to slow down on that. Another sponsor. You've seen it right here on my hat and Kevin's hat. Now, you can get these hats for about $20, that includes shipping, if you go to splatteredfrog.com. So I'm going to put that in the chat. And if you go there and you put in the coupon code is SHORTBOX. That is a 20% off coupon code. And that'll save you some money. They have pint-sized glasses, hats, shirts. You can get shirts in all shapes and sizes. Colors, I don't know. I think it's all just black. But the hats are black, too. I chose the trucker hat because, as you can see, I put a lovely little pin on the side. It just makes it easier. So I have Mrs. White from Clue on my hat for this week because I love Clue. And it's a cool pin. So you can do that, personalize it, make it kind of fun, have fun with it. And that's splatteredfrog.com with coupon code SHORTBOX, saves you 20%. So I put that in the chat. And we're talking about, again, Kevin, we're talking about ranking
John Hughes movies.
Now, do any of you guys have one? Now, we're going to be ranking 15 of John Hughes films, everybody that's in the chat right now. 15 of his films. Hey, Aiden. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining. Aiden's here, everybody.
What's up?
Yes, we're going to rank 15 John Hughes films. And in ranking 15 John Hughes films, a few got left off. And that's mainly stuff that he just wrote and not technically directed or produced or anything. Some of the stuff that he just wrote will be in on this list as well of the 15, the top 15 that we've chosen. But a smattering of the other ones that we didn't get to put on here. If anybody could think of any. I know, Frank, you don't know the entire list, so it'd be a little difficult for you. So I'll go ahead with Chris and Kevin and see if they have any choices of any that didn't quite make the list that they wanted on the list, or that they just knew wouldn't make the list, but they enjoyed anyway.
I think we had Flubber originally when we were putting the list together, then we took it out.
And that's the one,
Flubber,
Robin Williams, right?
We decided, Flubber's a great movie, but because it's a remake of a movie and it's not an original piece of work, that probably should not go on the list.
Yeah. I don't think anybody could argue with that. Flubber's a great film, but again, it didn't quite deserve to be on there. E.T. will not be on the list, Jared, because John Hughes did not produce E.T. and write it or any of that. So
E.T. something we don't know.
Right. Unless you're in on one of those secrets. Jarrett used to be a child star. He's worked with such talent as Robert Downey Jr. So
that's true.
As far as I'm concerned, he's still a star. You can see Jarrett in some of our videos if you go to YouTube under Rumble Spoon Productions, where this podcast is at as well, this live show that you're watching now. If you go to our page, don't do it yet, but later, if you go to our page, and if you look up Iron Fisted, type in Iron Fisted on there, you will see a fun little video of Jarrett. We also have one called Kids Corner, where Jarrett and his daughter, one of his daughters, is on, and they do a little interview type thing. Some very cute stuff. We had a Comics for Kids special, I think, as well, with Kevin, me, and Jarrett, where we're kind of in our pajamas, hanging out, little fireside chats and stuff like that. So we used to do a lot of fun videos like that. Very enjoyable. So I hope you guys get a chance to check those out when you get time. Hey, Maria, thanks for joining. Hello, Bonnie. Hello, long Maria. Time no see.
Hey, Bonnie.
Bonnie, I have your magazine still here, and if you don't get it at some point, I'm just going to keep it. I'm just going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. It's the Christmas movie, Santa Claus the movie, I think is what it was, with John Lithgow. That's the one, right, guys? John Lithgow's Santa Claus the movie?
I believe so.
Dudley Moore also, I think. Could have actually been Dudley Less, I don't know. But
yeah. Dudley Moore looked taller on screen than he was in real life.
Same with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Apple boxes galore. Yeah, you almost forgot Bonnie. How dare you? And it's in good shape, too. I got a good one. I got a good deal. I found it. I fought a guy over it. We were pulling on each side, and I slapped him like that. And I got you that. So it's here. It's in nice condition. It's waiting for you. But anyway, let's get to it. Let's rank some John Hughes films. Let's start from the bottom and move our way up to the top. So, who knows anything at all about number 15? Because I'm going to tell you what, I know diddly squat about this one, and my sister knows way more, and I should have talked to her. This one's called She's Having a Baby.
I can take this one.
Okay, let me pull up the picture, and we'll go from there. You can go ahead and start, Chris. I'll pull up the picture as we go.
So She's Having a Baby. It stars Kevin Bacon, Elizabeth McGovern, and Alec Baldwin. And basically, it's about this couple who it basically goes through their life from like from them getting married, the wedding day, to the birth of their child, and then it's through Kevin Bacon's character Jake goes through his eyes, and there's always like this voiceover commentary on the situations, and a lot of imaginary scenes that happen in his mind about these events. It's interesting. It's an interesting movie. It's funny. It's one that a lot of people forget about. I had forgotten about it until, like I said, I had read the book that Ready Player 2, and they had a big scene from it in there. And so I went back and rewatched it, and I definitely think it was more entertaining as an adult than it was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it for the first time. But yeah, it's definitely not. It's not John's best work. But like I said, it's good. It's always fun to see a younger Alec Baldwin. Yeah, it's funny. It's definitely has that John Hughes romantic comedy feel to it. Though it's different in the fact that you're not seeing like you're seeing that one thing you don't see a lot of times in a lot of movies. You don't see like the end part of the wooing. You see like a lot of the falling in love in that part with the teenager stuff. And this is kind of the middle part where you have the wedding and the baby and what's happening. So we don't see that aspect from John Hughes that often. So that was an interesting point of view that we got for this movie compared to the other ones on the list.
Okay.
Pretty much.
And this is at least one of two that I know of John Hughes films with Kevin Bacon in it. At least two that I know of has had Kevin Bacon in it. I don't know if there's a third out there. If there is, somebody throw it out there. Because I know he was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and I know he's in She's Having a Baby. That's all I know right now.
Well, John liked to use, like a lot of directors, like to recycle his actors. So
yeah, well, once you get used to somebody, I get that. We have a couple comments here. My mom says she's never saw that one. Janet says She's Having a Baby was really funny. And we have a new name on here that I haven't seen before. Doodlebee says I've never seen it. So I'm not sure who Doodlebee is, but thank you for joining us. Appreciate that.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah. So She's Having a Baby. That's number 15 on our list. And it sounds like Chris likes it, Janet likes it, so maybe you guys should check it out. Sounds like it could be a lot of fun. So we're going to move on. We're going to go to number 14 on the list. Number 14, let's see. I could talk a little bit about this one, actually, because I remember it fairly well. We are talking about number 14 on our list, and that is Beethoven.
Roll over, Beethoven.
Yes. Number 14, B-E-E-T-H-O-V-E-N, Beethoven. Beethoven? I don't know. Maybe I spelled Beethoven wrong. We'll see.
It's Beethoven is how you spell it.
Yeah, then I got it. Haha, look at me. Like a rock star. All right, number 14.
Unfortunately, the real Beethoven could not correct you if you mispronounced his name because he was deaf.
That's true. That's true. He can spin in his grave, but he can't really say much. Doodlebee is one of Janet's Cincinnati friends. So, cool. Thanks for joining.
Okay.
Janet, thanks
Cincinnati
for inviting them in. And Doodlebee, if you like us, tell your friends. Not just Janet, because she just told you. We're trying to expand is what we're trying to do, not just stay within. So, tell your friends if you like us. Anyway, Beethoven. Charles Grodin. I think Bonnie Tyler was also, that's her name, right?
Bonnie Hunt?
Bonnie Hunt, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Bonnie Hunt. Thanks, Frank. Bonnie Hunt and Charles Grodin stars as the mom and dad of a family that adopts a Saint Bernard that is just too large for the home. They know it, but the kids fall in love with him, and that's it. And then basically, hijinks ensue. Classic Charles Grodin is hating something so hard it becomes hilarious. And that's what he does in this film, and that's the dog. And it just becomes a battle between Grodin and the dog, and how annoyed he is with the dog. But at the end of the day, how the dog makes him fall in love with him and everybody else, and everyone's happy. It's one of those mushy, happy-go-lucky films. It was written by John Hughes, and I think he didn't write it under his name. He wrote it under a surname, so no one would know it was him. He wrote it under a, did a little fake name thing there and was like, yeah, I'll just do this for the money, which he totally did. But we know it was John Hughes that did it. Sorry, John, we found out. It's just the way it is. And we talked about the rankings. There's a little bit of childhood reminiscence that comes into this, a little bit of, love from your past when you think of Beethoven and the fun that you had watching the film. So we just ranked it just slightly above 15 because, again, it wasn't directed or anything by John, but it was written by him, and it did deserve to be on the list. It's a fun film. We've got a few comments. I'm going to mention those really quickly, and then if anybody in the chat or on here wants to add, we'll go from there. Bonnie says, one of the few famous Bonnies. My mom says, saw that one, was a funny movie. Maria says, did you know there are 8 Beethoven movies? Isn't that begging for a Beethoven's 9th?
Of course.
That's good. That's good, Maria. Janet says, Charles Grodin has such a range of facial expressions. Yes, I agree. He does. But anybody want to chime in on this before we move on?
The thing in real life about St. Bernards, those big dogs, they don't live very long. So I can never want to own one. That would be so tragic.
Oh, wow. Way to just bring us down. Jesus, Kevin.
Well, that's true. Those big dogs are adorable, but at the same time...
David Beethoven's definitely dead by now.
Well, of course.
I think his great-great-grandchildren might be alive.
That's true.
Probably what it is, yeah. They used him as a stud in between takes and would have him go in his trailer, and they would have a bevy of bitches just there for him to choose from.
So you're saying that there was a casting couch for this dog, is what you're saying?
I think there was. Yeah, I think there was. And I think that's why John didn't put his name on this, because he knew about it. He knew about that casting couch.
John's, just so you know, John's pseudonym that he used for this movie was Edmond Dantes.
Edmond Dantes. That's an interesting name. Go figure. Anybody know why Edmond Dantes? Anybody in the chat?
Well, he's the main character of the Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that actually does make sense because he was in disguise.
Yeah.
He gave us a pseudonym as well. So that's kind of cool. That's cool. Yeah, I like that. Okay, cool. Well, Beethoven, number 14. Let's go to number 13 on the list. This one is another one that I'm not great on remembering. But I'm sure somebody here knows a lot about it.
Probably me. Who just went back and rewatched all the John Hughes movies. So
yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
After I had read that book, I had to. I had to, put all that in my head so I could.
That makes sense.
All right, so Some Kind of Wonderful. It's one of his teen movies, with a teen heartthrob at the time.
Eric Stoltz. Who else is in here? Is that
the original Marty McFly, by the way?
Leah Thompson is in it,
and the other girl looks like Leah Thompson with shorter hair.
Mary Stuart Masterson.
Masterson.
Wow, Mary Stuart Masterson looks so much like Leah Thompson with short hair.
Kind of, yeah.
That's crazy.
I think one of her big breakthrough movies was Fried Green Tomatoes, as I recall.
That is correct, yes.
Kind of put her on the map. Yeah.
Hey, Alex Banquita popped in. Alex of Headless fame. Alex, I've been looking for your book, buddy. I've been going for shops all over. Kevin, if you get a chance to stop at your little secret shop you go to, let me know if you can find it.
Sir.
Because I'm having a heck of a time finding it at a local shop. But I know it's out there. Alex Banquita wrote a comic book called Headless. It was a 4-part series. The sequel just came out, number 1 of 3. Headless, I think, season 2 or whatever I think they're calling it. But check it out. It is from Scout Comics. And it should be available at most local comic book shops unless you're in Southern California, of course, in which case you have to apparently bribe somebody to get the book.
So anyway, the movie is basically about Eric Stoltz. He has a friend named Watts, I think her name is. That's Mary Stuart Masterson. And she was like, basically people pass rumors around that she's a lesbian. And so the two of them are like basically spend the movie trying to, at first she's trying to go to, they're trying to raise their social status. Eric Stoltz, one big thing for him is he's like trying to go to, his dad's obsessed with sending him to college because he'd be the first one to go. And so they're competing with all this stuff. And meanwhile, Eric Stoltz just wants to date Leah Thompson because who doesn't? But she's dating a different guy, and of course, it's basic John Hughes, teen love stuff, and of course, Eric Stoltz, and Leah Thompson get together at the end because they do all this stuff, and they find out they have feelings for each other, and all that stuff, and they they rise in the social circles and stuff in school, and so basically it's definitely not one of his more. It's a good movie. It's a really good movie, but it's definitely not one of his more popular teen, like high school rom-coms. I'm not sure why. It could be because it has a smaller cast than some of the other ones. It could just be. Mm-hmm. I mean, Leah Thompson and Eric Stoltz are well known, but not as well known as some of the other ones we get later on, or is it later on, or later up in the list, I guess, just to say.
Right.
But why it didn't pick up more is maybe because it's ahead of its time, talking about lesbianism in the 70s or in the 80s. I don't know.
Right.
And he's the original Marty McFly. Unfortunately, he got removed early.
Yeah, if you watch they have clips of it on YouTube that you can watch where it was him playing Marty McFly, and you can tell why he was recast.
Yeah, it just wasn't working. Working.
Just wasn't the same.
But he did great in Mask, though. He was perfect for that.
And if you get a chance to watch 2 Days in the Valley, fantastic little Tarantino-esque film. I highly recommend it. It's Charlize Theron's actually first film. Her film debut is in this film with Eric Stoltz and Danny Aiello. Aiello. Yeah.
I'll say this about the movie though. It is, in my opinion, it's one of my favorite, best friends realize they're in love with each other and get together. Endings out of all the thousands of those there are in Hollywood.
And I'm going to tell you, I don't think there's one person in the audience right now that's watching in the chats or that's here within us that didn't have that kind of moment where it was like, I'm really into this person, but this person doesn't seem to be into me type thing. It is one of those universal across the board things that just everybody can, relate to. And it's hard to see because you kind of go down that memory lane a bit. Even if you're older, I can imagine being myself because I'm going to live for a long time. I can see myself being like 105 and being like, oh, I remember back when I was in my 20s and, this girl didn't like me. Or at that point, I might be like, who am I? It's going to be one or the other.
Well, you know what? That would be the year 2084.
There we go. Yeah, 2084. That sounds right. So Alex has a few things. He says Scout Comics has, their website has the comic book. And Midtown Comics also has it available. You can purchase it and they'll ship it to you, both companies. So thank you, Alex, for mentioning that. Janet says, based on Some Kind of Wonderful, she says, Mary Stuart Masterson is so great at Unrequited Love, and she looks cool as a drummer. Bonnie says it's a good one. Alex says she's the hot drummer he doesn't notice. And also, Marty McFly doesn't want to date Leah Thompson. Bonnie says a very young Candace Cameron plays the little sister.
That's true, yeah.
And Alex says, I'm pretty sure the actor who plays Casey Jones is in the movie. What is his name, Kevin? Shoot. Elias.
Elias Koteas?
Thank you.
He is in it. He plays Duncan, who is like a troublemaker in the school.
Yeah, and Alex says he's the bully that befriends him. Thank you, Alex. I love Elias. He's great. I loved him also in what was that movie with it was with man, my name. John Goodman was in it. It was they said time is on my side. It was kind of a horror thriller.
Oh, with Denzel Washington. Yeah, that's.
Yes.
It'll come back to me in a second.
I couldn't think of Denzel Washington's name. This is how old I'm getting.
It came out in the 90s, I remember.
Yeah, sometime around there.
Yeah,
if anybody can think of it, throw it up in the chat. Alex says 2 days in the
Denzel Washington.
Fallen.
Yes.
Doodlebee said it. Fallen. Thank you, Doodlebee. Really appreciate that. Wow. Oof. Brain fart, man. I get a lot of those.
Benjamin Button.
I'm very gassy with all these brain farts, apparently.
Yeah.
Alex says 2 Days in the Valley. I'm watching that for sure. Didn't know it. Oh, dude, Alex, man, you're gonna love it. It's really good. It has Jeff Daniels in it as well. It's like separate stories that kind of start to coalesce and come together in crossroad type scenarios. It's good. It's really good. Bonnie says it's the story of my goddamn life. Doodlebee says, yeah, I enjoyed it. And Alex says, a girl I had a crush on would make out with me, but wouldn't date me. That was my unrequited love moment. LOL.
Sure.
And yeah, Alex, if you have not seen Fallen, dude, you got to see that one too.
Yes, underrated.
Particularly with what you write, man. This is going to... You're going to be like, what? Yeah, it's good. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but Elias is in it. He's amazing. He's in the beginning. So don't get your hopes up. He's just in it for a little bit in the beginning, but he's amazing. And then Denzel Washington's amazing. John Goodman is great. And Mr. Tony Soprano himself is also exceptional in this film. So you're in for a treat.
You will enjoy the twist, Alex. Trust me.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so that was number 13. Let's move on to number 12, shall we? This one's cute, right? This one's cute. Frank, I'm going to ask, have you ever seen Curly Sue?
Yes, many times.
Okay, would you like to talk about Curly Sue?
Yes. So Curly Sue stars Jim Belushi and a young Allison Porter. She was in a few things, like an episode of Golden Girls, and I didn't really see her in much of anything else besides Curly Sue and Golden Girls. But essentially, Curly Sue and her father, played by Jim Belushi, are living on the streets. And then one day they meet Kelly Lynch's character, and Kelly Lynch was as classy as ever in this film. I really liked her in this movie. And she was in a relationship with some dud who, of course, didn't like the idea of her moving in this homeless man and his daughter into their home. And so adventures ensue, and it's a feel good film. It's, it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. It's a good, wholesome film, I think. Everybody should see it at least once if they haven't seen it. Just decide for yourself if Curly Sue's for you.
Now, guys, I have a quick thing I want to mention. Doing this John Hughes thing, there's also a little bit of an extra thing that I'm doing. I'm going to make it my quest for the year. By the end of the year, I'm going to get, somehow, some way, Jen Candy, that's John Candy's daughter, to view this podcast. This is my mission for this year, is to get Jen Candy to watch this live podcast and to say hello in the chat. That's my goals. Fingers crossed. That's what I'm going for. I'm coming for you, Jen. I'm coming for you. And I figured John Hughes would be a good start. I tagged her in an Instagram post. She liked the tag. She liked it, so that's a really good start. That's progress right there, right off the bat. So maybe she'll watch this later. I don't know, and then maybe she'll be like, "Oh, now I have to tune in next week and see what's up." But we definitely, that's going to be my goal throughout the rest of the year. Jen Candy on this podcast somehow, some way. In the chat or as a guest. I don't care. Either way. If we can get her as a guest, that'd be amazing. But in the chat, I'll settle for it. I really will. But moving on, Curly Sue. Jim Belushi. John Belushi's brother. The second most popular Belushi. But the only one that's still alive, unfortunately. John passed many, many years ago. Jim actually, the reason why I brought that up is because Jim actually interviewed with Jen. She used to do a little show, and I mean little because the space was very small. But it was a great show, and it was called Couch Candy. and she would bring people into this intimate like setting, and some big time celebrities sometimes, and just sometimes people that have worked with her father in some way or somehow in some capacity. And Jim was one of these people that she brought in, and he did just a fantastic interview with Jen about her father and about his brother and things like that. It was very nice, a very nice interview. So Jen, if you're watching, I remember the interview. It was very, very nice, and I appreciated it very much. And she would do that at Second City in Hollywood in Los Angeles, California. So that's number 12 is Curly Sue. I'm going to read some comments about Curly Sue. Frank, thank you for going over that with us. And let's see what the comments are. Bonnie, aww. My mother says that was a really good one. A really good movie. Maria says, love this one. Bonnie says, been a hot minute since I've seen this one. I'm going to tell you, Bonnie, it's probably been at least 20 years since I've seen it. So I think it's due for a rewatch. And Chris, I'm definitely now going to put Ready Player 2 on my reading list because it seems like you liked it. I did not hear a lot of good things about it. Like it wasn't as good as Ready Player 1, so I kind of avoided it for a while. But if you liked it, I think I'd probably like it too.
No, I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, great. Alex says, somehow I never saw this one. Wow, Alex. Janet says, Curly Sue could beat everyone at poker. That is true. And Mel Raz, thank you for joining. I've met her. She is really nice. Oh, man. You have to tell us more. You can't just say, I met her. She's really nice. Have you met her recently? When she was younger? When did this take place? Where? What happened? What happened? Did she give you a piece of candy? Something. Okay, so we're going to move on from number 12. And we're going to move on to number 11 on the list. Number 11 is a big one, guys, and you're going to be surprised because you're going to be like, why is this so low on the list? Chris will explain that because I'm sure as shit not doing it. We're talking about
because the others are better.
16 Candles.
I mean, John Hughes made a lot of good movies, and a movie could still be really fantastic and still not make top 10 because there's that many good movies made by
16 Candles.
I mean, this is an important movie because it is his directorial debut. But yeah, it's just not as great movie. Just not as good as other movies on our list.
Is this the one where she gets pregnant?
I think you're thinking of For Keeps.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what movie you're talking about. But
I don't. Okay, is this the one with the dude that was in the tree and he was like?
Yes, the Asian guy and that type of thing would never fly today because every anti-defamation league in the country would attack the film.
Right. Was Ducky in this too?
Do that.
Long Duke Dawn. That was the character.
No, that's Ducky's pretty in pink.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Ducky was pretty in pink. Okay. This is Long Duck Dong, right?
Yeah.
That was
the
in
last name Dong wouldn't fly either anymore today. But
not really.
This one basically is about Melanie Ringwald, and basically her character's family forgets her 16th birthday.
We're taking a hit, guys, on this. People are not happy with this.
Woo! Oh boy.
They are not happy with this ranking.
The knives are coming out.
I'm gonna be real. I could care less about this film. I watched it. I thought it was pretty bad, to be honest. But I get it. Nostalgia hits hard for certain people, and like in your life. I watched this much older. The other one where she gets pregnant for keeps, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember my sister watching that, and I had to sit through it. And I'm like 7 or 8 or some shit, and I'm trying to watch this, and she's like crying and saying she's pregnant, and I was like, can we just watch like Transformers or something? Like,
oh, definitely. I didn't want to watch that.
No, right? Yeah. So,
again, not the best. There's a young John Cusack in it, though. You can't go wrong with that.
And also Zelda Rubinstein from the Poltergeist movies is in there too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting Alex says boo, it should be way higher. Bonnie says seriously. Alex says great movie. Maria says definitely would be higher on my list. Doodlebee says love Duck and that. Melraz says Jake with a heart. Bonnie says, oh my god, if you ranked For Keeps higher than this, well, I got news for you, Bonnie. You're going to be very surprised at where For Keeps ranks. Alex says long duck dong. Doodlebee says duck. LOL. Oh, sorry, wrong film. Alex says John Cusack looks 12 in this movie. That's not John in that picture, just so everybody knows. I think he might be in it, but not in that picture. Mel says John Cusack is in it. Alex says I didn't see it until I was in my 20s. Loved it. Janet says women in their 50s really love 16 Candles. They fell in love with the character, the Jake character. And Jim Hoffmaster, thanks for joining, Jim, says Harry Dean Stanton was the dad. Oh, Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, just recently.
Yeah. Man. Doodlebee says, yeah, Long Duck Wong is that in that film. Is it Wong or Dong? I don't know. Somebody. Anyway.
Dong, I mean.
Man, I'm taking that one off. We're taking too much hits. Too much heat on this one. Let's go to another one that's going to be a little nicer, a little lighter. And that's why it made number 10 on the list. Are we ready for this one, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. We are talking about, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Michael Keaton.
Batman?
Batman, a.k.a. Mr. Mom, at number 10.
Real name, Michael Douglas. A lot of people don't know that.
What's that? Produced by? Michael Douglas actually produced, if I recall, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Michael Keaton's real name is also Michael Douglas. But a lot of
people
is
it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was a decent film. It was kind of progressive in that he stayed home with the kids, which at that time was not a common thing for men to do.
Right. That was woman's work.
Turned it in, and they turned it into a comedy. So you had Terry Garr, playing the breadwinner, and then her boss was like sexually harassing her, played by Martin Mull, constantly trying to get with her, and that provided the source of the conflict in the film.
Colonel Mustard, always causing issues.
And you also have Christopher Lloyd and Jeffrey Tambor in the movie as well.
Wow.
Jeffrey Tambor, a name that we haven't heard in a little while because of his apparent attitude on set.
Oh boy, that sucks, dude.
Yeah,
I know.
That was rough.
Because he's a great actor. I really love a lot of his work. I think he's a fantastic character actor.
But Christopher Lloyd was awesome in Nobody, if you haven't seen that yet.
Frank, Janet says, Terry Garr reminds me of our mom in this movie, just her mannerisms.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, certainly.
that's cute. That's nice. You get a reminder like that. Sometimes it tugs on the heartstrings for sure. See, number 10. That's why we did it, because it's a wholesome, fun film. There's a lot of good, funny moments in it that show that men are trying, and that they can also step up to the plate, which has been proven time and time and time again. Really, it has.
So, do you think Mrs. Doubtfire was influenced by this movie in some way?
No Doubtfire. I'm so proud of that one.
Oh, you shouldn't be.
Oh, man. There we go. Get that pat on the back. Okay, Mr. Mom was number 10. Let's move on to number 9. Give me a second to find it. Now, everybody, this one. Everybody's going to lose their shit on this one because it's so low on the list.
It's another Molly Ringwald movie.
Sorry, guys. Pretty in Pink.
Oh, boy.
Dun,
dun, dun.
Number 9.
I fought for it to go higher, but it was where it was. It is where it is.
Oh, man.
Okay, so let the hate begin.
The knives are coming out now for you, Don. The knives are coming out for you.
Okay, so if anything, this gave us the ultimate classic. This allowed... Now, refresh my memory on the gentleman on the left. I know John Cryer. I know Molly Ringwald. What was the name of the guy on the left in the picture? The other main actor of the film in Pretty in Pink. Guys? Anybody?
Is that James Spader?
Andrew McCarthy.
Andrew
Jesus.
McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy.
Thank you, Janet, for mentioning Andrew McCarthy. Andrew McCarthy, if it wasn't for this film, we wouldn't have got Weekend at Bernie's, guys. So, thank you, John Hughes, for helping Andrew McCarthy's career so we could get such pearls like Weekend at Bernie's and the even better classic Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Oh, yeah.
Which I love. So, Alex, if you haven't seen, I swear to God, Alex, if you haven't seen Weekend at Bernie's or Weekend at Bernie's 2, we're going to have a talk. We're going to have a strong talk after this. I'm gonna email you. Let's see. Okay, here comes the hate. Alex says, what? Bonnie says, canceled. Mel says, what? Bonnie says the rest of this list is horse shit. Janet says, this is number 2 for me. Love Andrew McCarthy and James Spader. Alex says, Andrew McCarthy, thank you. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Jim. Alex says, ha. James Spader. Yeah, James Spader, sure. Alex says, just saw the movie Class with McCarthy yesterday. Oh, cool. I love both of those movies. Hey, you've seen them. Great. Maria says, would be number 2 on my list, too, Janet. Love this one. I think it's kind of crap. Like, it's kind of like... Look, man, I don't like akin to this mushy bullshit. And, like, I get it. I get it. Like, I like movies that pull on your heartstrings, but I don't... Ducky? No.
In real life, I think Ducky would not have gotten a girlfriend until he was 30.
Yeah, well, if he ever got one. Ladies, I pulled for this movie. I love this movie. I love the mushy stuff. But like I was saying with 16 Candles, there's just so many other movies that were made with John Hughes that, even though I love the mushy stuff, that I feel just by just general pulp culture, the way, just popularity and just the way that it has changed film history and stuff like that had to be ranked higher. This is one of my favorite John Hughes movies. It's one of the first things you think of when you see Lex Luthor on the right there. Besides Two and a Half Men, even when I was watching that movie, I was like, "Hey, why is Ducky in this show?" So for me, so it's not there just because for me, disliking it, I tried making it higher, but it's hard because you got to put more than just
guys. Trust us. Trust us. There's a lot of good stuff still coming. Number 8 on this list alone, I think. Give me 1 second here.
Is it My Namesake? Does it involve My Namesake?
Yeah, it's gonna get us just raked over the coals for this one too.
I know. I think it should be higher myself.
But here's the thing: he didn't direct. He wrote. This is number 8. This is number 8 on the list. Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Number 8, guys.
Kevin McAllister.
Number 8.
Yep.
You can't go wrong. Macaulay Culkin, the movie that made his career. I mean, it's awesome. Everything he did to outsmart those robbers.
I'll disagree on this being the movie that made his career, Kevin, but you can keep going.
Oh, that's right. I can't forget the other movie.
Yep.
But this movie made him a superstar. You can't deny it.
Wait, what's the other movie we're talking about? Wasn't he in that bookkeeper movie?
Well, yeah, he was in that Page Master, but that's later. That came later. Yeah. Let's see. We've got some stuff. We've got some comments. Bonnie says, "Come on." Home Alone at number 8. He didn't direct it. He just wrote it.
There you go, Bonnie.
So we're giving it decent props because it's a great holiday classic film. But I'm going to tell you now, there are much better films still coming, guys. You're not thinking of the whole thing. I promise you. I promise you, when you see this, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, there's that. Oh, there's that, too.
Yeah.
But Joe Pesci, man. You got Joe Pesci. You can't go wrong with Joe Pesci.
That Otis Redding scene, come on.
Absolutely.
Alex is just all exclamations. Mom says, Candy. Loop funny. Finally, a whole cheese pizza all to myself, says Jarrett. Bonnie says Kevin has to do the face. Kevin, go ahead and do the face.
I just did. I'll do it again.
Maria says this is a must watch every year. Every 4 years for me, Maria. I don't have to see it every year. But I guess I will now. Janet says, that's how awesome John Hughes is, that he made over 10 brilliant movies. Absolutely. Mom says, funny. Jim says, The Good Son. Yes, he was also in that with the other childhood acting star.
Elijah.
Yep. Janet says, My Girl. Yes, he was also in My Girl. Dan Aykroyd.
And that movie has a sad ending. My God.
Alex Banquita says, Getting Even with Dad was his big break. Come on, guys. And that was with, what's his name? Ted Danson, right?
If any of you are interested, the new Home Alone that just came out on Disney Plus is a direct sequel to this movie, where it has his brother Butch as a cop.
Okay, Maria, I will watch that one.
And it has, and it shows kind of what the future for Kevin was, even though we don't see Kevin. But
that's cool. That's cool enough. I'll take it.
Guys, I'd like to point something out in Home Alone that I always found rather interesting, and that is Old Man Marley. As you can see in my background, I've included him. Now, the funny thing about Old Man Marley is he's under the impression that the reason people don't want to make eye contact with him is because he has a simple disagreement with his son out in the driveway. They're not making eye contact with him because they think he killed his whole family in half the block in South Bend, Indiana. This guy doesn't have the first clue as to why people are afraid of him. He's just thinking, oh, it's a simple misunderstanding. No, it goes so much deeper than that. You almost have to wonder, once the McAllisters came home, did anybody ever iron all this out? And in fact, this guy's not a killer. It was just a simple disagreement. Did Kevin bring that up to his parents and Buzz and all the rest and correct them?
Let's give a quick shout out to Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as well for their fantastic performances as the Wet Bandits, aka the Sticky Bandits, aka Prison Fodder. Just wonderful performances by both of them. If it had not been for them, we would not care about Kevin McAllister. You know what I mean? Like, he's cute.
Well, they play off each other. They play off each other
yes,
well.
Just so very well. It's such a... God, I love Joe Pesci in this so much, and Daniel Stern so much. I just think it's fantastic. Like, their performances are fantastic. And the dad, I can never remember the dad's name, but he was great. He did a fantastic... and the mom, what's the mom's name? I'm terrible with names.
Catherine O'Hara.
Thank you, Catherine O'Hara. Fantastic. The little snippet with John Candy and the polka. A lot of fun. Yeah. Again, another John Candy in a John Hughes film. John Hughes loved John Candy, loved putting him in his films, and John Candy loved being in those films and helping him out whenever he could. So it was a nice symbiotic type relationship that they had that I just loved. So again, a few more things here. The twist is he did kill his family, but doesn't realize it, says Alex. Doodleby says only Kevin knows. Jarrett says John Hughes films had so much heart. It's great seeing all of them together. And Alex says it's true. Heroes are only as good as their villains. And Jarrett says tons of great character actors in all these films. Agreed, Jarrett. And I just want to point out that Jim said that mostly bullshit was Hughes, mushy bullshit was Hughes' stock and trade. I will respectfully disagree, and I will go with the heart foundation type thing that Jarrett said. I feel like mushy bullshit is definitely different from heart, and you see that heart more in Home Alone, and you see more mushy bullshit in things like 16 Candles.
Oh man, woo!
It's true. You can. Oh, Kevin, you helped rank this too. Don't act like you're innocent. It wasn't just me going, I want this, and this, and this. Kevin's right there going, oh yeah, he's right.
Audience,
yeah,
you know the truth.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Wait till you see what's number one.
Throw me under the bus. Number one, I will say I pushed very hard for this number one.
Yes, you did.
I did, very hard.
Because I wanted number 3 to be number 1 for me.
Oh, well, I think you're number 2. How about that? Sean says, shots fired, shots fired. It's true, shots fired. I get it. And that was number 8. It was Home Alone, guys. That's a classic. That's number 8. So number 7, what do you think number 7 is going to be? I think number 7 is going to be the film that made Macaulay Culkin's career, Kevin.
It started it, but it didn't make him a superstar.
Uncle Buck.
Started it.
Starring John Candy, Macaulay Culkin, and a host of other great actors, but definitely John Candy. Who was the sister, by the way?
Actress. She's been in a lot of things. So. Name is
Amy Madigan.
Amy Madigan played Buck's girlfriend.
Yeah, I thought so.
Redhead. Yeah.
Jean Louisa Kelly.
Oh, it looks like Janet's happy with this choice of Uncle Buck being above some of the others. Apparently, some of you have forgotten about Uncle Buck. Ice Jimenez says John Candy with a heart. Yes, absolutely. I am probably one of the number. You know what? Actually, I'm a huge fan of John Candy. Like,
well, who is it? John Candy's great.
No, Kevin. There's regular fans, and then there's huge fans. You got to go and watch every John Candy film. You have to buy his films and own them and have them in your collection.
His smile,
stuff like
his
that.
His charisma. He puts a smile on your face when you see him. You know, you feel good when you see a John Candy.
Mm-hmm. Did you know he was in Heavy Metal?
Yeah.
Cartoon?
Yes. He was the voice of a very muscular bald dude in there that had relations with an alien type character.
Oh, yeah. That was quite the scene.
Yeah, quite the scene. But that just shows love for John Candy, man. I follow him everywhere he went. Great. It almost looked like Chris got stuck in a tornado there for a second because everything was spinning with him.
Sorry, I'm on an uncomfortable couch.
I was following this with incredible intensity because I was concerned that you had literally got sucked up by some type of Texas dust storm. We've got some comments, so let's talk about Uncle Buck and the giant pancake. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Who hasn't thought about somebody making them or making their own giant pancake like that? Who hasn't?
Trying to film miserably.
Wow.
There you go. We've got some more. Doodleby says, love the film. Maria says, love Uncle Buck. Sean says, I saw a John Candy double feature once. 2 of his that came out at the same time. Doodleby says, several voices. Thank you, Doodleby. Janet says, Buck, here's a quarter. Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face. I'm Buck, whatever his last name was, and I couldn't remember. And then he would go, Molly Russell's wart. Right, Buck Russell, Molly Russell's wart.
Molly Russell's wart?
Yeah.
Melanoma in my head, you know.
Yeah. Oh, he was the robot, too. Thank you, Doodleby. Hey, all right. Just a wealth of information is Doodleby. Glad to have you on. So, Uncle Buck, what was the character, the daughter, and her boyfriend? What was her boyfriend's name?
Bug.
Bug.
Bug was the boyfriend's name. And do you remember, Buck had the hatchet, and he said it was sharp enough to circumcise a gnat. And he says, gnat, bug, you see a connection?
Yes, fantastic. The guy that played Bug was a great character actor, too. I believe he also starred... He starred in a film called The Boy Who Could Fly, if those don't remember that. It's actually a pretty fun film. I enjoyed it as a kid. It was one of my sister's loves. Yeah. I'm sure, Frank, you probably had to watch it because Janet wanted to see it. Am I correct?
What, The Boy That Could Fly or
Yeah.
Uncle Buck or both? Oh, yeah.
The Boy Who Could Fly.
Yeah, they were entertaining films. Yeah, my favorite part of The Boy Who Could Fly is when Fred Savage loads his squirt gun with urine and just blasts the bullies.
Yes. And he's like, what was in that? And he's like, piss. Yeah, that was great.
So, interesting trivia. How John likes to recycle his actors. The following actors were all considered for Buck before John Candy ran the role: Danny DeVito, Tom Cruise, Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, Jack Nicholson, John Travolta, Michael Keaton, George Wendt, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, John Goodman, Ed O'Neill, and Joe Pesci.
Wow.
That's
quite a list.
I can only imagine John Candy playing
Wow, that is quite a list. We've got some more comments pulling in, guys. I'm pouring in. I'm gonna mention these. That was a good one. The Boy Who Could Fly, says my mother. Sean says The Boy Who Could Fly is great. Janet says, "Aw." Jarrett says, "Bug. Ever hear of a ritual killing?"
Yeah.
Nice. Well done, everybody. Well done. Speaking of which, anybody that is in the chats right now, if you want to shoot us over a like, that will help with our placement on YouTube in the future as well. The more likes and comments, the better for us. So just throw a comment out there, throw a like out there for the podcast. If you haven't followed us, particularly someone new like Doodleby, if you haven't followed us, you can go to the YouTube page and just click on follow. Or subscribe, actually, is what it is. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we do have a Facebook page as well. We do actually do a lot of giveaways too. Kevin, didn't we just give away we gave away a Slab comic book, a Spawn comic? We gave away a couple James Bond Blu-rays. We gave away some horror Blu-rays for Shocktober. We gave a bunch of horror stuff. Fun things for all of October, basically. Candy. We mailed candy to people, and we had a ball doing things throughout. And we're going to be, Christmas time, we're going to be pretty generous too. So, you guys keep following us, keep watching our podcasts and our live feeds like this, and we will be giving away more fun things as well in the future. Jim says, Uncle Buck works because of John Candy's underlying sweetness.
Yep.
And my mom says, I can never find the like. Mom, it's just subscribe for YouTube. You would just click on subscribe on the page. I can always point you to that later. No worries. I'll text you a picture or whatever.
John Candy was the kind of like what I was gaming for as an actor when I was acting. I was like, I want to be John Candy without the death.
You did an excellent job, Chris, in Girl Repellent. If no one's seen that, that is available on YouTube. You can watch Girl Repellent. And Chris does a really good job as the leading character that's just trying to navigate his way through life and love. And it's really fun. I recommend it.
Oh, thank you very much. Yep. It was a lot of fun. It was, but yeah, I kind of channeled John Candy in that role. So
there we go. See, I knew it. I saw it. Sean says those coloring books you gave away were amazing. Yes, Sean did some coloring books that you could have purchased in the whole month of October. They were like $5 a piece, so I bought a couple so I could color them in later. And he also did a book called Odd and Ed. It's a short little novella kind of a book with it's Burton-esque in tone and in scope as far as with the art and stuff and the cover and everything as well. So definitely recommend checking that out. Also, Janet is also in Girl Repellent. Janet, I forgot that. Oh my God, shame on me. I think you were one of the zombies, if I recall. That. Frank, you're gonna have to check that out.
She played
I have not seen
neighbor, I believe.
Yeah, she did. She did. I think she was had laundry or something.
She was laundry. She wanted to do his laundry.
That's it. Yep. So that was number 7, Uncle Buck. We're going to go to number 6. Now, number 6, I have a lot of love for number 6, and I really wanted to push this higher, but I understand that we have so many great things coming that it couldn't go higher than this. But we're talking the great Dan Aykroyd, the great John Candy. We're talking about The Great Outdoors at number 6. Guys, this is probably my favorite John Hughes film of all times. If not number 2. It's a real hard one. But I love this so much, and my mom can attest to that. So can my dad. We watch it all the time. We all love it as a family. Just watching him feed the bears with his son and putting the candy bars on the hood of his car, and the bears getting kind of crazy and climbing up on top of the roof and the hood, and then him driving away with them still on it. And the moment where his twin daughters, Dan Aykroyd's twin daughters, get stuck in a cave, and him and John have to team together to go help them, and this bear attacking him, and him just being chased by this bear through the woods. It's so fun. Dan Aykroyd plays the slick city man that's trying to con everybody, and has a lot of money, so we think. And John Candy plays the good old wholesome American Midwest guy with his family that just wants to have a good time and take his family out to a cabin the way he did when he was a kid. Great Outdoors is the quintessential John Hughes film. It is all about heart. It is all about fun. It is all about family. And The Great Outdoors is a perfect film for anybody just wanting to relax or enjoy a good time filled with laughter and friendship as well. So it's a really strong film. I very much recommend it. Anybody else have anything they want to say about The Great Outdoors?
Yeah, the scene with a 96-ounce steak was really funny.
Yes. He didn't
I like
eat it
how John
all.
Candy's like, oh, he's in so much pain.
There's
and they
only
keep making him eat more.
but there's only fat and gristle left on that plate. And he's like, and then later you see him with shirts and stuff and everything, so you know that John Candy ate all that fat and gristle too.
So the thing about this movie for me is because of this movie, anytime I see a raccoon, all I can think about is this movie.
Lips and assholes, right?
Yes, because that scene is, I think, the funniest scene in the whole movie. And It's just like every time I see a raccoon, I had my first apartment when I moved to Texas, I had a feud with a raccoon.
Really, a feud?
I had a feud with a raccoon. Yes, it constantly would chase me to my apartment because I had to walk past its trash bin when I was walking from my car to my apartment. And I interrupted it one day by throwing a trash bag on it. So I didn't know what was in there. Anyway, so yeah, we had a feud, and so I always thought about that movie and that scene from that movie every single time I saw that asshole.
How was the feud resolved?
I moved.
Oh, so he won. So basically, he made you move.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, that's not why I moved, but yes, he won.
Guys, no shit. Jared says he auditioned for the part of the son. Surprised he didn't get it.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So Jared, I gotta say, having seen the film and seeing the son, he's a weak link in that film. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he was great, and you don't see him in. I don't know if you see him in anything after that. So, I think they really screwed the pooch on that. I think they should have had you, buddy. I think you would have done a fantastic job as the son. Honestly,
you could have elevated the film probably to number 2 on this list if you were in that, Jared.
Sean says something that I think needs to be pinned here real quickly. He says, "Bear, big bear, big bear, big bear, chase me!" And then, boom, the bear comes in the door and knocks him down. It's The Great Outdoors. Even during the credits, when Dan Aykroyd is dancing to the mashed potato and things in the bar after, like, it's just like all the actors are dancing around and the crew's filming and stuff, and everybody's having such a good time. This just shows the love of the film and the people that were involved in it and how much fun they had with the film. And you can tell that. You can see that even behind the scenes. So I think the Great Outdoors deserves to be higher. I fought for it to be higher. It didn't make it higher. There's reasons why, and we'll see that next. So moving on to number 5. The Great Outdoors has been taken down. And number 5 on the list,
National
Frank?
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, starring Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo.
And Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, a young Juliette Lewis, yeah. Yeah, this movie, I mean, I never get tired of seeing it, and I can watch it any day of the year. It only generally plays during the holidays, but it's just one of those movies I never get tired of watching. So many great scenes, like the scene where Clark gets on the sled and goes downhill and can't stop because he's put this super powerful lubricant on the bottom of his sled. And then there's, Cousin Eddie with all of his antics,
Randy Quaid.
Yeah, Randy
Getter's
Quaid
full.
kidnaps the boss. Wow, what a scene. And his kids, Rocky and Ruby Sue. There was that funny line. They said she fell down a well and her eyes went crossed. She was kicked by a mule and they went uncrossed. Who knew? Oh, man. And of course, the scene with the lights, he's got so many lights that it requires auxiliary power, to light the house, the external of the house.
How about his brother Brian? Not his brother, but Bill Murray's brother Brian Doyle Murphy.
Doyle Murray, yeah,
playing the
was
terrible
great.
boss.
Mr. Shirley.
Yeah,
he
the
kept
dick.
calling him by the wrong name too.
Yeah, he does such a good job of playing such an asshole.
Yeah, he's great. He's a grump.
Doodleby says
like,
so many.
We got you a gift. Put it with the others, Griswold.
Yes, didn't even look up. Doodleby says so many one-liners. Janet says, "Drum roll, please." Janet says, "The couple next door keep getting hurt." Elaine from Seinfeld. Yeah, Juliette Lewis, if I recall, right? No.
Dreyfus.
Dreyfus, thank you. Jesus.
Julia Louis Dreyfus, yeah.
There we go, yeah. That's why I get confused. Bonnie says classic. So you see why some of these other films, like 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, and things like that, didn't make it quite as high?
This movie has scarred me because I can't eat, I can't have anybody, I can't hear any kind of, chewing or dry chewing or anything now because of the scene where they're eating the the super dry crispy turkey and then because all I can think about is that scene. I hear anything that sounds like it, I was like instantly takes me back to that scene, and that scene just just shivers down my back every time I watch it.
And I can guarantee you 95% of the people in the chats right now are going to watch this for the holidays. They're going to watch it. Frank, I know you're going to watch it, right?
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, Uncle Lewis was funny. He lights up his cigar, and then he catches on fire because the Christmas tree is so dry.
Yeah.
Because the dog drank all the water out of the bottom.
Everything in the movie has a purpose. Everything happens because of something else that happened, and that's just the way that it was written and directed in that way. You can really follow this whole map. You can map it all out and see why everything happens. I think it's ingenious.
Kevin, do you have a good memory of this film?
Yeah, so I remember Randy Quaid just standing out to me, along with, of course, Chevy. Randy's he's just a zany, crazy character. So you can't go wrong. Either Randy Quaid, you're going to be entertained for sure.
Yep. And I think right after this, Randy Quaid's character got into a helicopter and drove it into an alien ship.
Oh, yes. I believe he did.
I think that's what happened. Yeah.
He was also abducted by the aliens and was improperly probed by them.
Mm-hmm.
Maria says Home Alone is greater than Christmas Vacation. Maria, I'm not going to argue with you on that. I did not want this one to be that high. But you know what? You have to placate people sometimes. Chris, who has said that he did this, he did that earlier on with some of these other films, pushed super hard for this one. So,
all right, I'll give you my explanation, my brief explanation. So the reason this is higher than Home Alone is because, it ranked. I mean, it's. First of all, it was written, earlier than I don't know what I'm thinking. It's basically the main reason I picked that I wanted this to go higher is because there's so many things going in my head. Is because so many people. It's such an iconic Christmas movie, and it often competes against. And I think it's been a Christmas staple and a Christmas classic longer than Home Alone. And so that's why, and it's quintessential. You think Christmas, it's one of the top. You think of Christmas Vacation, you think of Christmas Story, you think of what's the other one with James Stewart?
Miracle on 34th Street?
No, where he.
It's a Wonderful Life.
The Wonderful Life. Those are the movies. It's up there. It's it's up there with Rudolph and Wonderful Life and Christmas Story and you think of Christmas Vacation. People do, not necessarily me, but a lot of the world does. And so you have to think about. When someone was coming up with this, I wasn't thinking about just us, what we think, but it's really high up there in what a lot of people think is one of the best Christmas movies ever made. And so for that's why I had to fight for it to be higher.
Chris, I have pinned right above your head. Jarrett saying, "Really sold that, Chris." Oh man. Okay, so that was number 5. Number 5, Chris. It's fine. We all have our choices, and we choose what we want. Doodleby says more relative. I love the whole family in Christmas Vacation. And hey, Chris, Jim says I'm with you on this one. He says I'm with Chris on this one. Now let's see, Jim, if you're going to be with Chris on this one, which is number 4. I don't know what. I know where we're at and why we chose these in this order now, and I will stand by my decisions with everybody else. I think we're all pretty aligned with the last 4. And be as mad as you want, but number 4, it's going to land for Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's number 4 on our list.
Dun, dun, dun.
Bueller. Anyone?
I'm going to tell you what right now. Ben Stein, the most monotone son of a bitch you'll ever have in any film.
Or on a TV show in Wonder Years.
Or Win Ben Stein's Money, which started Jimmy Kimmel's career, really, essentially. Alex, lots of exclamation points. Alex, I know you're going to hear me out on this. You're going to hear me out on this, Alex. Because there's 3 other far superior films. And I'm going to stand by this decision. It's going to be respected, one way or the other. I don't know how. I'm just going to talk my way out of this. Chris is going to help. Kevin's going to help. Frank's going to help. We're all aligned in this, except for maybe Frank, because we kind of did this list before his input. So
You already Venmo Frank money, so
Yeah.
we paid Frank off. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. This is not number 1, Sean. And I will argue this to the death, sir. You can come over and we'll fight with swords. I had plenty. My roommate has a sword collection. I can just pull from there. We will fight. So number 4,
that sword, though.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, great cast. Great cast. Great film. This has Jeffrey Jones playing the principal, who is a dick, by the way, and really wants to catch Ferris and ruin his life, pretty much, in high school and make him fail so he can repeat school. Jennifer Grey, I believe, plays the sister of Ferris. Am I correct on this, people?
Yes, that is correct.
Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey, who is fantastic in this, and who at some point thought her nose did not look well and got plastic surgery and ruined her career officially by doing so.
That's a shame.
Very big shame, because I mean, unless there's something physically wrong, like you're missing part of your cheek or something like that, there's no need
car accident
for that kind of thing. You know, she had her own unique beauty, and that's what set her apart from other people, and that's why she kept getting these roles. As soon as she did that, the roles dried up. Is what it is. So let's hear the hate.
Well,
Here we go. This is number 1, says Sean. Maria says classic. Mom says that was a good one. Janet says Mr. Rooney. Yes, exactly. Jeffrey.
Yes, Sarah.
Skip this. Well, I'm with you, holding judgment till I get to the top 3, but Ferris Bueller seems pretty perfect to me. Jim, thank you for withholding judgment. You will see. We will make you believe. Trust me. Sean says your bias is seen in the misspelling of Bueller. Okay, so Sean, that's not bias. I worked for a restaurant that was called Bueller's for 8 years, so please forgive me for misspelling Bueller's based upon the hell that I worked at for 8 years to make enough money so I could move out to LA to do this for you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
man.
I know, right? I really turned that. He should be like, here's a cake I baked for you, Donald. But we'll see. Janet says, I love Charlie Sheen and Jennifer Grey's scene. Yes. Janet, that is a great scene. Those that haven't seen the film, please watch it. I highly recommend it. Maria says, Ferris Bueller is so tight that if you stuck a lump of coal up its ass in 2 weeks, you'd have a diamond. Bonnie says, my best friend's brother's sister's boyfriend's brother's girlfriend saw him pass out at 31 Flavors last night. I guess. It's pretty serious. Jim says, Jennifer Grey's nose job, it didn't look terrible, it just made her look anonymous. Agreed, Jim, sadly. Jarrett says number 4 is a great spot for this. Thank you, Jarrett. Jeez. And my mom says, yep, he did work there. Thank you, Mom, for defending me. Julio says drugs. The question mark.
Of course
Yes,
they say that.
exactly.
Man.
And Julio, so glad to see your son doing so amazingly well in golf. My God, man.
He's on his way.
Mad Max is crushing it. Anybody that doesn't know, Julio is from We Can Be Heroes Comics. And Julio, by the way, I had Maria take a picture of me. I don't have it yet, but I'll get it. Of me wearing the sweater of sweatshirt thing of We Can Be, the hoodie of We Can Be Heroes Comics at Universal Studios. Walking around, advertising, telling everybody. It's good times. John says, no, thank you, I'm straight. Julio says, thank you, with an exclamation point. Cool. So Ferris Bueller, number 4. Anybody have anything they want to add to Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes. I like the scene where Mr. Rooney gets on the school bus at the end and
The gummy bears?
students- Yeah, that was the best.
They've been in my pocket for a while, so they're warm and soft. Okay, lady.
Mr. Rooney had the worst day. He'd been attacked by the dog. He's completely disheveled. He gets on that school bus.
Sean, I figured. Okay, so Ferris Bueller's Day Off is number 4. We're going to go to number 3 now. Okay.
Yes.
This is where you guys start to understand where we're going with this. Number 3 on our list.
Number 1 on my list, but
Woo, weird science. Put some bras on your heads, everybody, and let's go.
Weird science.
see my background. See my background. Oingo boing, oingo boingo.
Oingo Boingo, Robert Downey Jr. I mean,
Kelly LeBrock.
Kelly.
As Lisa.
My
Let me
God.
tell you something. Kelly LeBrock was too good for Steven Seagal.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
This should not be number 8, Sean. You're drunk. Go home.
You're very drunk, Sean. How dare you?
Janet says Anthony Michael Hall is so cute. Not in this photo, technically, Janet, but yes, he's a cute man.
Ian Mitchell Smith.
Not so cute in Halloween Kills, if I recall, but, you know, still cute. Still cute.
Yeah.
Mom
Boy,
says
I
that
see
was a
him
good
back.
one. Bill Paxton was in this, and he got turned into, like,
yeah.
some type of a zit troll thing or something.
He was an obnoxious older brother.
He certainly was.
Yeah, Chet. Yeah, Chet.
Yeah, Chet. It's certainly obnoxious. We had a biker gang show up. We had, like, these guys kind of, like, trying to lose their virginity with this woman that they created through science in their computer. Like, it's cool. Anybody that like, especially, okay, so maybe not necessarily the women in the crowd, but men can very much relate. And unfortunately, you're right here on this panel are 4 men. And you can definitely relate to this kind of situation where you're like, I'm never going to find somebody for me. I wish I could create my own perfect woman that would be just so in love with me and would, like, follow me around, and it would be so perfect.
Appreciate you for who you are.
To have somebody appreciate me for who I am. Oh my God, you like comics? That's so sexy. You know, that kind of thing would be amazing. And that's
Hey,
why
you found that person. How dare you?
you get things like weird science. And this is coming from, you know, from a mind of a male that wants this type of relationship, that feels like this is basically fan service for nerds.
You know what's
Just
funny?
be
I
straight.
don't think this movie could be made today because it might be considered toxic masculinity.
Thank you,
yeah.
Doodlebee. Doodlebee says this would be number 1 for me. So it's pretty
Thank you.
high.
It's my number 1. Thank you.
Pretty high on the list. Kevin, that's fine. I know you fought for this one. But again, Kevin's wrong. And I will show you why in the next 2. Okay, in the next 2. Janet says the teenage girls were so sweet, and I love how the boys found out that it's them they really want. Girls their own age. Yes, Janet. See, that's how it relates then into almost a feministic type of attitude that they lean towards then, and understand and learn that even in the creation of the character, what is it? Is it Kelly LeBrock? Am I right with the name?
Yeah, Kelly
Yeah.
LeBrock.
Kelly LeBrock, with her creation and understanding that she is just there to guide them. She's not there to be their plaything, which is what they wanted. But in her role, exactly, yes, she becomes their mentor, and she teaches them that women need to be respected. So it's funny how guys love this film because it's very masculine in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of femininity in here too that's kind of snuck in very cheeky ways, and it teaches you a lesson. And plus, I like that overall. I think it's great. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, plus the title of the movie, as some of our fellow comic book community nerds know, is the title of a famous EC Comics book. Weird
You got
Science.
It, buddy.
A great comic from the 50s from EC. If you ever have a chance to read an old trade paperback of any of the Weird Science stories, you're in for a treat. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And speaking of great, let's go to our second on the list. And this one was at first. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This was at first, and it got bumped.
That made threats. That's why.
No, I pushed hard, and Chris agreed, and it just took that to tip it over the edge. And at number 2, just after Weird Science, let me see if I can find it. Number 2, don't forget about me, guys. We're talking about The Breakfast Club. Now, don't you feel foolish talking about, 16 Candles is amazing. Why is it so low? Blah, 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 blah. Because we had to have space for all these other great films.
Yeah. And The Breakfast Club is right up there as one of the greatest of all time for the 1980s and all time. Really.
Yes. And Frank, I watched this earlier this year by myself at home late at night. And I was about almost halfway through it, and I was like, this movie's bullshit. Like, why am I rewatching this? Why I don't remember being this stupid. Like, why is this sucks? Flash forward to about 15 minutes later, and I've got tears streaming down my face, and I'm like, I get it now. I get it.
Mm-hmm. Plus, you can't get that song out of your head.
Oh yeah.
Don't you?
Simple Minds.
Yeah. It's such a heartfelt film, and it's about bullying. It's about being bullied. It's about being isolated, being an outsider. It's about
the five archetypal characters.
Right. It's about being pressured, about having so much pressure on you, about being the perfect student, the perfect child. It's about being the girl everybody adores and thinks is just so perfect that she farts rainbows. It's about the
Ali Sheedy. I like Ali Sheedy's character.
The kind of goth chick, right? That everybody thinks is, I could score with her. You're right, Kevin. All these 5 archetypal characters put into a room in detention and creating this atmosphere around them. This film was cheap to make, realistically.
$1 million.
Right. It was a cheap film to make, and the cast was reasonably priced, I would imagine. So to be able to create such an iconic film based upon almost just one area, that basically they're just all within a library almost the whole time.
Mm.
Like, it's just crazy that it's such a popular film even to this day. Even to this day.
The criminal, the princess, the athlete, the brain, and the basket case.
Yeah. Now, here's my question. After they'd all written that letter and signed it, do you think they got another Saturday school as a punishment for their defiance?
Yeah, I would imagine so, yeah. Definitely a letter to their parents.
Oh, yeah. Like, your kids are going to be in Saturday school for the rest of the year. And possibly next year.
And if not their lives.
Yeah. They've got a permanent mark on their record for this. It's going to stop them from getting into a good college.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, we've got some comments here. I just want to bring them up. Mom says good movie. Sean says number 3. So that's number 3 on his list is how you'd put it. So we get it at number 2. That's pretty close, Sean. Come on. Maria says quintessential Brat Pack movie. Bonnie says the entire middle of the list is jacked, and I stand by my earlier outrage.
Ooh, man, that's vicious.
You were outraged by the last part of our list, like at the end, like 15. She's having a baby. You were like, what? What? It's okay.
Wait until you get to
I
number
understand.
one. You're going to be really outraged, Bonnie.
Everybody has their own choices for sure. Alex says, I've never finished it. Believe it or not, I don't hate it, but I never got to the end. Alex, I can understand because, like I said, the first half is a little bit like, what? And then about 15 minutes past that, you're like, oh. So stick with it, buddy. I think you'll understand. Sean says, I'm not a fan of The Breakfast Club, but considering its impact, I would put it at number 3. Sean, that's pretty close because comic books do that cover of all of them posing. They do that. It's so iconic. They set that up. And that's like a fun little like extra, like a variant cover that they do for comic books. And even now, this came out in the 80s, guys, and even now they're doing variants of that cover. They're like homaging it. That says to the scope of the overall influence that this film had on people, even now. Speaks a lot to that. Janet says stereotypes. It could be a stage, a play on a stage. I love that. And Jim says you mess with the bull, you get the horns. Was it like this? Is it this? No, it's this. Right? It's this. Mess with the bull, you get the horns. Alex says he'll finish it this weekend. Alex, you get a lot of homework. Bonnie says the first time I saw this was in health class my sophomore year of high school when we were learning the 5 different personality types. Kudos to that teacher. Anybody else here have anything they want to say in the chats or here? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the movie speaks for itself. It's a classic for the past 36 years.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely made the careers of many of these cast members. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's a great, simple little story that takes place mostly in a detention hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What more can you ask for? Just a well done, well-written film.
Yeah. And it shows you that kids can get in trouble regardless of, you know, their social status or, you know, whether they come from a good home, a bad home. You know, they're going to mess up at some point. Hopefully not enough to get Saturday school, but, you know, once in a while. It was well balanced, you know, between the different demographics of society that were all in that room.
Mm-hmm. Alex says, LOL, movie homework, the best kind. Jim says, definitely had a thing for Ali Sheedy after this. With a little wink, smiley face.
Me too.
Okay, so guys, we're going to move along just for time's sake. We're moving along to number 1 on our list.
Controversial.
Not controversial at all, buddy. Well deserved. Well,
a lot of money was Venmo'd back and forth.
Well deserved. Let me see if I can find the picture. And that is number 1 on our list: Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Steve Martin, John Candy, the perfect John Hughes film. And Chris and I and Kevin, we thought about this and we thought, well, let's separate the holiday films from everything else. So we got to rate those at least in the middle, if not lower, because they're just holiday films. And we kept circling back to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as far as heart, as far as comedy, as far as Thanksgiving, as far as everything. And it became very, very apparent that this film was going to rank high. And at the last second, we decided to move Breakfast Club from number 1 to number 2 and put Planes, Trains 3 or 4 spots up higher into the number 1 spot. Because it is the perfect John Hughes film. It has heart. It has comedy. It has classism. It has the most crude type of humor built in with the most sophisticated type of humor. It has love lost, love regained, new relationships born, new friendships, friendships lost, friendships reborn. If they rename this The Phoenix, I would be okay with it because there's so much rebirth within this film. It's perfect. This is the perfect John Hughes film, and I will arm wrestle anybody that disagrees.
Yeah,
Kevin?
I mean,
I'd take you. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wait. Did you say you discovered that scene after the credits after like 20-something years you didn't know about?
Yeah, after the credits, yeah. I never watched after the credits because I've only ever seen it at home on like VHS or whatever. And I had the DVD, And I was watching it, and I just kept it playing, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back out, and it showed the guy that worked in the office of Steve Martin, and he was still looking at the two photos of which one he wanted to choose from. It's so great.
And it was that indecision that caused Steve Martin's character to be late to begin with.
Yeah.
His boss being so unreasonable, just taking forever to decide. Yeah. Do you know what's interesting? There was a deleted scene where the man who robbed the two of them in their hotel room, he had actually delivered them a pizza. So they cut that scene. Because I used to think, what were the odds he's just going to pick their hotel room out of all the rooms to pick the lock and then rob them? Well, the deleted scene was he's the guy that had delivered the pizza. So he knew for a fact that people were staying in that room and had money. So he picked the lock with the knife, creeps in, steals their money, and the next morning they don't have any cash left.
By the way, I don't know those that are tuning in whether you were swayed by my presentation on Instagram or not. I bought this yesterday.
Oh, how nice.
I bought the vinyl album to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. If you can see the price I paid a wonderfully priced $5 from Record Safari. This is in Las Feliz, over by the Tam O'Shanter, for those that have not been.
Got a great soundtrack. I love it.
Yep. Fantastic soundtrack. A lot of fun. If you can find it, it's apparently reasonably priced. But this is number one. Jen, this is number one. He definitely made the lists. John Candy, number one. Steve Martin, number one. Also, if you haven't checked out Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin, I highly recommend that. It's on Hulu. It's a fantastic new series with Steve Martin and Martin Short.
Quick story about this movie. Back in 2014, maybe it was, I was working in New York in an off-Broadway theater, and Steve Martin had just written his musicals, Bright Star, and he was in my building I was working at, previewing it, and I got to go preview it, and I got to meet Steve Martin, and the only thing I could talk about, I got to have a chance to have a conversation with him, and the only thing I could talk about was his movie. Talk about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and talk about how this movie kind of like made me, watching this movie as a child, made me want to be an actor. Seeing his relationship with John Candy and seeing John Candy and kind of using that as a springboard in the future, and he and Steve said, "It's great. I don't hear very many people talk about how much they love this movie. So thank you very much." He said it was one of his favorites that he made as an actor, and so it was a great conversation. I remember that, and I wanted to talk about other things, but I couldn't. All I could talk about was this movie.
Yeah, you're lucky. That's an honor to meet Steve Martin and have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
I just saw him not long ago. Jesus, where was it? I was with my buddy, and we were at House of Secrets, and we drove past the smokehouse, I believe, and he was coming out of the smokehouse in Burbank, California. So that was really cool to see Steve Martin just walking out, and you're driving past. Oh, hey, Steve Martin. But a cool moment. We have more comments, and then we're going to wrap this up really quickly. Alex says, has any of the Rumble Spoon guys gotten Saturday detention? No, but I have gotten in-school detention for walking down a hallway I wasn't supposed to during lunch. Nothing grand there. I didn't do anything crazy.
I got recess taken away, but that was about it.
I got detention after school detention one day for getting punched in the face.
Wow.
That's an injustice.
You probably deserved it.
Oh, I did. I ratted this kid out because he did something, and I ratted him out. And so, of course, I
friggin' knew it.
big goose egg. But yeah, so I got detention. I didn't even do anything.
Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, I got detention once for something. I think I was like for being late, something like that.
That sounds boring.
I used to always
just like mine, buddy.
I used to wonder why I had to have a hall pass if I would get in trouble for not being in class anyway. It's
yeah.
Like, what do I need a hall pass for? If I'm not there, believe me, they're going to know. they take attendance.
They do.
If I'm away from class too long, somebody's going to go look for me. It's not like, hall pass. That was so stupid.
Right. Janet says, "You're going the wrong way." Janet, that is one of my favorite moments in this film. When he goes, how does he know which way we're going?
Oh, yeah. He goes, he's drunk. He starts making this gesture like, you've been drinking too much.
Yes. I love that so much.
And the husband and wife are like, you're going to kill somebody.
And then, like, when they start getting between the cars and flames start coming, like sparks, and then John, he looks over and John's like in a devil costume going, I love it.
Hell.
I love it so much.
The car finally stops. That's the best.
Yes.
And the luggage flies off the top.
This film is perfect. I'll argue it to the end. This deserves to be at number 1. Bonnie says, saw that coming. Jim says, well done, gentlemen. You stuck the landing. Thank you, Jim. Sean says, welcome to Marathon. May I help you? And my mom says, love this movie. It was one of my favorites. Alex says, really good ending. Janet says, those aren't pillows. Another classic scene. Bonnie says, those aren't pillows as well. Another class. Thank you, Bonnie. Another classic scene. Alex says, there's a post-credit scene? Yes, Alex. Check it out. Let's see. Alex says, what? Jim says, I thought that was a Laserdisc at first, the record I have here. Alex says, I thought it was a Laserdisc too. Maria says, I definitely had some detention. I missed the 8th grade class trip. Oh, Maria. What did you do, you little shit? Chicago Rob, thanks for joining. He says, 3 coins in a fountain, each one seeking happiness. Wait, Flintstones, meet the Flintstones.
Yeah.
John says, Planes, Trains is brilliant. No argument with a number 1 placement for this one. Okay, so it looks like we did all right. We may have muddled the middle for some of you, but it looks like we turned it around.
Bonnie will never forgive you.
Where it was all important. The important part is we turned it around, and we placed the number 1 movie in the number 1 spot where it deserved to be. So we did all right. And guys, since it's so close to Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining us. Happy Turkey Day. We hope you have a wonderful time with friends and family. Take a look. Watch some of these classics. Maybe Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, since it takes place during Thanksgiving time. He's trying to get home to his family for Thanksgiving, which is a perfect time to watch this film. That didn't sway us at all, but we loved it. Maria says, I chewed gum repeatedly after many, many lunch detentions. It turned into in-school suspensions. Lady just like gum. Leave her alone. Janet says, happy Thanksgiving. Doodleby says, you too.
Thanksgiving.
Mom says, thank you, gentlemen. This was a good one tonight. Well, thank you, Mom and Dad. Appreciate you guys. I always love our conversations before I start my podcast every Monday, so that's always nice. Chris, you have something to say?
I was trying to make a turkey with my hands.
Oh.
All right. Frank, thank you for being our guest, buddy. We really appreciate it. This is the first time having you live, buddy.
You
for having me.
You did a great job, Frank. We got to bring you back on.
To you, my friend.
I would be honored to come back. It was a lot of fun. Donald, Kevin, Chris. I thoroughly enjoyed myself tonight.
We very much appreciate it. Let's quickly read some more of these chats, and then we're going to wrap this up. Alex says, suspension for chewing gum. Sheesh, I got suspended for throwing pepper in a kid's face. I deserved it. Mom says, love you, son. Thank you, guys. Love you guys, too. Maria says, I know, injustice, stupid Miss Voda. And my mom is laughing. So my mom's laughing at Maria, no doubt. That was fun, guys. Thank you. We are going to... Kevin, are we taking next week off? We're taking next week off, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're going to take next week off, guys. We need a little well-deserved after Thanksgiving break. We're going to be full on turkey, pumpkin pie, and cheer. So we're going to take next Monday off. But we will be back the following Monday. It's going to be something that's going to be a surprise. We're going to post about that momentarily. But my quest to get Jen Candy to respond on our live video podcast continues with the next time we meet up. Kevin, what date will that be when we have our next live podcast?
It shall be on December 6th. Monday's December 6th.
Yeah. December 6th, yes. We will reappear magically, and we'll bring some Christmas cheer to all of you children out in the world. Perhaps we'll have some gifts, some presents, something we're going to be giving away. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. I want to bring up momentarily here really quickly. Over the weekend, Sean, who's in the chats with us right now, him and I got the rare opportunity to interview Gary K. Wolf. Thanks to Alex Banquita, of course. Thank you, Alex. We got a chance to interview Gary K. Wolf. Who is Gary K. Wolf? Some of you might be asking. Oh, none other than the creator of Roger Rabbit. He wrote the novel Who Censored Roger Rabbit. We have an hour-long interview with Gary that we have done over this past weekend. It's going to be available in a few weeks. It's going to be fantastic, guys. There are some very big things that Gary's working on that's coming up, and I'm super excited to be the podcast that is going to exclusively let you guys know about these big things that are coming. So it's something that's very special. We're very happy and excited to present this to you. And if Gary's watching, Gary, thank you so much again for being a part of that. And Alex, thank you so much again for giving us this contact with Gary and allowing us to do this. It's a very great moment for us, and we really appreciate it.
And also, you and Frank should get together. You guys are both in Miami. You got to pay a visit.
That's true. Yeah, guys, go grab drinks. Sean says, y'all have to check that out when it comes out. His stories are fantastic. Sean, I agree. In fact, Gary, Alex, you're going to love this. Gary said that we had asked him questions in this interview that he has never been asked before in the history of all of his interviews he's had in the past.
Wow.
So
you impressed an 80-year-old man.
Go figure. Yeah, we did all right. We did all right. There's a pat on the back there for us. Yeah, a little pat on the back. But it was a great interview. We had a great time. We hope that we will see you in 2 weeks on December 6th with our next podcast. Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, please subscribe. Please leave a like. Tell your friends, tell your family about the power of the Real Short Box.
All right. And again, Frank, thank you for being our guest. Chris, welcome aboard as an official member of the Real Short Box. And if we don't see you out and about anytime soon,
perhaps we'll see you at the zany, zooty, but always zealous comic book shop.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.
Have a great weekend. Holiday weekend.